That's good. I reckon that's a record for the quickest podcast organisation I've ever had. So for everyone listening, I messaged you like 15 minutes ago.
I'm really busy. I'm super...
Yeah, me too. Clearly, I was just saying I was having a flick through some of the photos from the 3K last night, and I saw your face, and I was like, I'm going to shoot you a message and see if we can line something up, thinking, all right, I'll get real organised for the next couple of weeks. Yeah. And I shot a message through going, hey, you want to come on? You go, yeah, let's do it. I go, do you want to come on right now? And it's such a relief because I have a bad habit of if it's not written down or if I don't just get it done, there's a good chance I'm going to forget.
Yeah.
So this is my style. So I was so glad I got you on an easy day.
Yeah. So I've already done my run and I don't have a double today, so it works out really well.
Oh, that's good. What did you have on the schedule this morning?
Just an hour. So, yeah, good day.
Yeah, nice. Because how your legs feeling? How far did you pace last night? Because I saw you, Jen gave you a big shout out for the pacemaking efforts last night. You must have done a bloody good job because I saw some good times.
So easy. Like, it was only 3 laps. Yeah, I said I'd go further, but I think because of like the national championship, they didn't want it to be like a paced race, like too far, and then it kind of will change the way the outcome could be, perhaps. And so I think it was just to get the race started, and yeah, so 3 laps, 71, 72. So it wasn't, I don't know, I didn't feel like it was that amazing. But I did my normal training session in the morning, so that was like, I just wanted to make sure I hit the times right. But yeah, I think it was fine.
Yeah, what did you have on the schedule this morning?
Just an hour run. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, you said that. Yeah. Oh, that's nice, just to turn the legs over a little bit. And what is it today? Friday. So Friday's pretty much it. That's an easy day most of the time anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, it kind of just depends if I do if I do 2 or 3 sessions a week. And when I do 3 sessions, Friday's my easy day. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you're back into it tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yep.
Wattle Park, so I haven't even been there before, so we'll see how that goes.
Oh, haven't you? I thought you'd spend a little bit more time. This is why I'm glad to have you on the show, because I clearly got a lot more to learn about your story. But I thought you'd spent a little bit of time over here with Badeau's crew. And with that said, I just assumed that you knew all about Wattle Park.
Yeah, everyone. Anytime I read an article which I haven't written or like had anything to do with, it's like Camille is based in Melbourne and lives in Melbourne. And I've never lived in Melbourne. I've never really based in Melbourne. This is the longest I've ever been. I think I've been to Waverley like twice before I came here this time. And so when I like live in Melbourne, I do not know anything about Melbourne. Like I've been for like a week.
Is that just because you're training with Badeau?
Yeah, and I think because of being at Falls Creek. So when I've come to Australia, I've gone to Falls Creek, and then we come here for say a few days before a race or a leave. So this is actually the first time I've based properly in Melbourne, and I'm really, really enjoying it. Yeah, I like all the sessions and the different. It's really cool. I really like it.
Yeah, I'm so biased. Like, I can't remember if I was already recording when I told you this, but we were living in Hawthorn. I don't know what your Melbourne knowledge is like.
I know because I take the train. I'm getting good at the trains, and so I know people that live in Hawthorn, and I got off the other day at Hawthorn.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, I used to do a bit of running with Ben Buckingham, and I always met him at the Hawthorn station there. I know the one. But so I've got the biggest soft spot on Melbourne. I'm still a sucker for it. But yeah, we moved out to Point Lonsdale, which is it's out near Geelong, about half an hour past Geelong, about 6 months ago, and I'm such a sucker. I'm such a sucker for the city. But what have you been getting up to since you've been here? Like, apart from your pacemaking and stuff like that, have the girls taken you out and shown you around a little bit?
Yeah, so when I first got here, I raced a 1500. Like 2 days later, I don't even know what it was called, but anyway, it was Box Hill, and then it was Easter weekend, so that bit like straight away. So we kind of did some stuff over Easter, which was really fun, and then but basically straight into training. So it was like a combination of seeing people, catching up with people, but also trying to train, and yeah, basically keep up with the get going again. Last weekend we ran we did the tan race, and then we went down with Ali and Sinead. We went down to is it Aries Inlet? Yeah.
Oh yeah, beautiful. Not too far.
Yeah, so we stayed the last weekend down there. Did our long run out there. And the weekend or two before, I've got some family friends that live down the coast, the other coast, like near Mount Martha.
Oh, beautiful. I love both of the places you just mentioned. Yeah, yeah.
That way, and then I've kind of gone into the city a little bit. Yeah, so I kind of like, but Melbourne's really big, so it's like trying to figure out the different train lines, and or then like obviously I've been like heaps of people been able to like pick me up or drive, but it's yeah, I don't want to be like annoying and yeah, because usually I've got a car or I feel more like, but the trains here are actually really good. So you're pretty yeah, it's really good to get around.
Yeah, they're good unless you forget your Mikey, because I don't know what's going on with us, but we spent 2 years in London, and the good thing was, like, if you ever forgot your, I think they call it an Oyster card over there from memory, and if you ever forget that, you can just tap on with your credit card or your savings card or whatever it is.
Yeah.
In Melbourne, there's been so many times I get to the train station and I'm like, oh, I forgot my wallet, so I walk 15 minutes home, tell everyone I'm going to be late, wander back to the train station. I love Melbourne transport, but one thing that just does my head in is those bloody Mikey cards. But I'm glad you appreciate it more than me.
Yeah, I just like try and leave it somewhere like really accessible, so then I can remember to like. Because the other day actually, when I was on the train, these like cop people came and like was checking everyone's thing, and the guys in front of me hadn't McDonald's, or they're using some like concession card, and they were clearly way over 20. And the guy's like, so you're on like a trial pass, like how old are you? And I was just sitting there like gonna start laughing because it's so obvious I'm not like 14 or something. Like maybe like 18, like they're trying to guess like the age, and they're like, we can assume you're not 14.
But they're just trying to be really polite about it.
Yeah, and the cop's like, well, you kind of like, you're not wearing a mask, you haven't got your right card, and I was like, man, like this, and there was like 5 of them, like 5 police guys, and they looked real scary, and I was like, oh man, lucky I did the thing, because I'd have just been like, I don't know.
Seriously, yeah, welcome to Melbourne.
Yeah, like, hey.
Oh my God, it's so funny how it is, like it's such a serious job, the way they act. I've been on so many trains and felt the same way as you. Like, oh my God, I'm so glad I scanned on, because right now I'd be terrified if I had to face these guys with any negative consequences.
Yeah.
What do you think of Mount Martha? It's a bummer the weather wasn't a bit warmer for you, because they got some really nice swimming places around there.
It was really cold, but we went, they picked me up from Frankston, and we went to a winery somewhere, I don't even know where, somewhere along between there and Mount Martha. But it was freezing cold, but it was still really fun. We sat outside because we were trying to like get the atmosphere, but it was like, oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was still really good. So
yeah, nice. Well, Bedou's group is it's a bloody one, a nice one for you to be over here to do a little bit of work with, because the guys and the girls are traveling nicely. How did you go at the tan last week?
I didn't do that well. So the time wise, I felt like I did good. But I got 7th, which sounds really bad. But yeah, I ran 12 flat, and it's the first time I've raced the 10. And yeah, the girls are going really well. So I'm I guess I'm coming in from a different, fitness wise, I guess. Like I've had a lot of races in New Zealand, but my overall training I've literally just raced every weekend. So I kind of came here to do a block of training, and use the races here as more like fun, I guess, training races. But yeah, every week I'm getting better, but I still wasn't quite there to like be in the contention for the race. But every week seems to, I don't know, I feel like I'm getting better. So in the next 2 weeks, when we go overseas, I think it'll be good.
Yeah, that is crazy actually, that you came 7th with 12 minutes flat. Because I reckon the last time I raced it would have been maybe 2013, 2014. I don't reckon there was any girls running around. Maybe one or two who are running around under 12. But just the form of girls, like Lyndon Hall's hit some bloody good form, hasn't she? Like when she's running the time she is, it's hard not to get dragged around. That's impressive. So who are the? So I know Lyndon was first, and then
Georgia Hanson, Jen, and then Ellie. She had a really good run. Ellie Pashley, and then Lauren Ryan, Sinead, and then me. Yeah, I know.
Awesome.
So, no, it was really cool. Like it was a cool event, and I was so tired. Like I tried really hard. But yeah, it was almost like my endurance hadn't quite got there, and I pretty much blew up. Like, it seems weird you blow up in a 3.8K race, but no, I did.
What, you guys went out? Were you running with the girls pretty much for the first half, or how did it end up?
Yeah, so I guess I was pretty close to the top, like Jen and Lyndon at the top of the hill. But I think I didn't realize that I guess I'd built a lot of lactic, and so I just couldn't buffer it. And so running down the hill, I was actually just getting slower. Like, even though it's downhill, well, I don't know if it was super slow, but the girls were like, I was running with Ellie for quite a bit, so sort of around that third or fourth place, and then fifth, and then Sinead and Lauren passed me with like maybe 200 meters to go, and I was like, I can't. I just have to.
There's nothing left.
Like, I don't even. Yeah. So it was like cool though, because like I knew I gave 100%. In every day, I'm basically doing all I can to train and push hard, and I know that once I can put together like a good few weeks of really good training, that the results will come. So it's just kind of following the journey that I guess I need to, my journey, rather than what everyone else is doing. So it was cool. It was like a cool weekend anyway.
Yeah, it's easier said than done though, isn't it? When you have so many good athletes running around. Like, I'm a sucker for, okay, I just want to focus on what it is that I can improve and what I can do differently. But I don't know how you go. Like, when you start to get competitive with a few girls that you run with, how do you go handling the or just focusing on what you can improve? Is there any little tips or strategies that you implement? Because I've always found that a tricky thing to do, just to be able to put the blinkers on and go, all right, I'm not going to worry about Stewie McSwain beat me by 2.5 minutes. I'm just going to follow what I can improve.
Like, 2.5 minutes? That doesn't sound like much at all. That's good, yeah. I think we ran threshold yesterday, and he must have been about like 4 minutes around.
That's so insane. That's so insane.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I guess it's like something I didn't used to do as much. I used to kind of, I guess, focus a lot on what others were doing, and but I guess if you focus on what, say, one person's doing, and then you focus on what another person's doing, you end up focusing on like 10 people, and it's too many things to focus on and think about, and so you just kind of don't actually know where you stand. And so I guess, to be honest, I don't really focus on what other people are doing as much as I used to. I guess I've also learned the hard way. Maybe I've tried what everyone else is doing, and then what happens is I get into a race, and then the end result isn't very good. And then so I've tried to switch the focus onto kind of what I think is working for me and what my sort of plan is. And I don't know, I just seem to enjoy the process more and get more out of myself and run faster in the race and stuff. So I don't know. I think it's just something that I guess I've learned from maybe other people I've been in the group with, or Nick has sort of passed on his, and you sort of just realize you can't always do what everyone else is doing. You've sort of got to focus on your own path, what kind of works for you more. Yeah, everyone's just so different. Everyone's journey and even like, say, what they did last week, last month, what's on their plate, what they're doing, what stresses are in their life. Maybe they've got not much going on, maybe they've got heaps, and so I don't know, I just think I sort of have to just think what I need to do, rather than there's too many other people to think about otherwise. So
yeah, it's such a good point. I know that feeling of having you've explained that well, like the 10 different focuses can just get so exhausting, can't it?
Yeah.
It's like you can get so caught up on one person and then realize that there's 9, 10 like endless other people who you could focus on as well. Yeah, that makes so much sense.
Yeah. So kind of just, I don't know, I guess. Yeah, and I mean, you can't, if you compare yourself all the time, you just get down, or you just think, I don't know, if you take it too personally, you just be upset. And I don't know, I just think, I don't know, I don't really want to feel upset by training. Like, I want to enjoy it, and I want to push hard, or I want to, try and get the most out of what I'm doing, the most out of myself, rather than trying to think, oh, this person beat me today, or this person did this. It's like, well, I don't know, just try and improve each week yourself. I don't know, that's kind of how you sort of see your own markers, focus on what they are, and see how they're improving, what your strengths are. I don't know. That's something, I guess, in the last maybe a couple of years, I've sort of been able to, I guess, get better at, maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's really good. I'm sure the listeners are so sick of me hearing me say this, but I feel like there's such a common thread between like elite performers and just having that ability to switch off from the, like whether it's a disappointing race result or like just difficult emotions or nerves going into a race, or at least just learning how to handle it well. And I think Stewie's that's a classic example of that over here at the moment. He just seems. I watched him. I spoke to Jai Edwards, who won that 1500 last week, and I was so pumped for him. And he's an awesome guy, and I was just so impressed with him. But I was also so impressed watching Stewie's response to, because he was the favourite going into the race, I would say. Yeah. And then to finish the race, within 10 seconds, he was sort of up, had his arm around Jai. Well done, mate. And I thought it's such a good representation of just taking it in your stride. Like, it would be so easy if you were a little bit more highly strung just to, not want to have anything to do with him and just go off and do your own thing and beat yourself up. But I feel like it just makes it not only is the sport so small that it'd just be awkward next time you saw him, but it's also, I guess, something that just weigh on your mind if you're a little bit, if you weren't careful, not just to let it go, which Stewie seemed to do so well.
Yeah, no, I think he would, and I guess he also, I don't know if this is kind of part of it, but it's kind of exciting watching other people do really well as well. You get it's kind of cool. So I think there's almost, maybe he's not part of our group or anything, but there's a point where maybe Stu is excited for his success. You're excited for other people's success because people work really hard, and they're always doing their best. So it's like for someone to put it together when it matters on the right day, execute the right race for themselves. It's like, hey, look, he did really well. So it's like, I don't think you could wish, you wouldn't be annoyed. You'd be like, hey, congrats. Like, you literally nailed it. The day you won the national title and you ran the qualifier. I mean,
yeah.
So yeah, I think he'd be sort of like, even though it's like, oh man, heck, like that's amazing. I don't know. I just think you wouldn't be annoyed because I don't know. That would be kind of upsetting, I guess, if you were annoyed for someone's, I don't know. Like someone's success, I guess, is like something, I don't know. I think it's like nice to sort of see other people succeed and see what, I don't know. That's how I would think that he would have looked at it as well.
Yeah, it's such a good point. It's funny how that sort of attitude crosses over to all things. Like, it's amazing how many... So about 2 years ago, I got involved in the stand-up comedy scene over here, which I'm so obsessed with. It's like, since I didn't have competitive running to go to anymore, I was like, all right, I got to focus something, focus on all this energy on something. And it's amazing how many comedians say, like, so if they might have 6 different comedians up in a night, right? Mm-hmm. And then it's so hard if you get up after a comedian who's just absolutely killed it. Yeah. And it's such a competitive scene that so often, like, you watch someone kill it and you're like, oh crap, like I wanted to be the funny guy. Yeah. And so many people talk about what you just spoke about then. It's like, no, but if you actually celebrate how well the person before you did, it actually, like, we're here because we like comedy. We're here because it's fun. It's supposed to be enjoyable. And if you celebrate it, like, you take a better energy up onto stage yourself, which is so much easier to carry on that vibe with, rather than being like, oh crap, I'm supposed to be the funny guy. But it's, it is interesting. Like, it's a really, I feel like what you just explained, that's the healthy approach to dealing with competition. But it's, it's definitely easier said than done, hey? Yeah. Well, for me, maybe that is. Maybe I'm just opening up too much about myself, and you're really good at it because you're not as, like, unhealthily competitive as I am.
No, I just think, I don't know if I can, it's just too stressful being, like, annoyed at people. Like, I don't know, it's too tiring. It's like, I don't know. I mean, everyone, I guess you're competitive, but it's more like the more times I've been annoyed is when I didn't think I gave my best or something, and I did something in the race that I think I shouldn't have, like, or I sort of didn't follow the plan I was supposed to do, and then it didn't kind of work out, and I was like, oh, well, that was on me. But I can't really control how anyone else runs or how they do. It's like, and if I spent my whole life annoyed at everyone running fast, I'd never get anywhere because there's millions of people faster than me, like way faster. So I have to be constantly depressed. I can't do it.
It's funny, like, we laugh about it, and it's so obvious when you explain it, isn't it? Like, it makes so much sense that just carrying around this stress because you're angry at someone that they beat you, it's counterintuitive. It's like, all right, the quicker you can let that go, the quicker you're going to be able to get back and enjoy your sport. And I don't know how I dragged you into this conversation and we've ended up here, because I wanted to just rewind quickly to the 10, because I reckon, okay, so you were saying that position wise, you weren't super stoked with seventh, but time wise, it was incredible. But I would be really interested to see if you had another chance. Like, say they repeated it in a couple of weeks. I feel like there's such a home ground advantage, and it's a really interesting course to run, because that Anderson Street Hill, if you're not used to it, like you said, that lactic at the top of the hill, it's like a real sucker punch that you got to learn to navigate. And I think, with it, I definitely improved. Like, over the years that I was doing it, there was no doubt that I at least came equipped with a little more knowledge as to how to approach it. But it's so easy just to go, okay, we're only 1,500 meters in. I should feel so good right now. And then just get whacked with the top of that hill. And then, as you said, like, try and find that speed or maintain that speed coming down all the way around to the finish line. But did you find it was hard to sort of navigate what pace to run, or were you sort of just being led by being guided by the pace the other girls were racing?
Yeah, I didn't wear a watch or anything. I don't know. Like, I think in my head, I didn't think I would feel very good running up the hill. So I thought, okay, like, I'll just, cruise up the hill and try and run hard down the hill. But when I was running up the hill, the girls in front of me, I felt like they weren't running that fast. And so I went around them thinking, oh, I feel great. And just, like, felt amazing up the hill. And then was like, okay, this is good. And then that lasted for a couple minutes. And I was like, oh, shoot, like, I actually feel horrible now. Like, I just felt good. Like, I just sort of thought, oh, it'll be fun. And then I was like, okay, it's not super fun. And then the downhill wasn't even, I guess, as steep as I sort of felt like it might be. It didn't feel that steep, but they were running so fast. I just felt like I was sprinting with, like, I don't know, it was a really weird feeling. Like, running up the hill, I was like, oh, I feel great. Yeah, I totally got this. And then at the top of the hill for, like, another K, I was like, oh my gosh, I think this is not good. This is really bad. I was trying to come in the top three. Like, I wasn't saying I wasn't trying to, I guess, my goal was not 100%. I didn't really know if I was probably not going to win the race. But I thought, no, try and come top three. It is realistic. It's not completely impossible. But, I mean, my training hadn't been going super great yet. I was still kind of picking up. But I thought, no, okay, give yourself a chance to come top three. So that's kind of why I went up the hill a bit hard, and then was like, okay, yeah, I don't know, just get to the finish line. Yeah, so it just changed very, very quickly.
Do you guys do any work down at the Tan at all? Do you train there? I don't remember. Like, I see Stewie running around there from time to time, but it's been a little while. I'm just trying to remember if I've seen anyone else. Does the Beddoe crew train down there much, or are you sort of out at Wattle Park and Lakeside and...
Yeah, I think they might do some in winter. I'm not sure. I've never done... I ran my threshold the Friday before around the Tan, because I had never physically run around it. I thought, okay, I need to do something around here just to see what it feels like. And I thought, oh, okay, I kind of get, like, I felt like I kind of understood it, but it's still not the same as going hard. Because it felt different. Like, I felt like the hill felt harder uphill, and the downhill felt sort of steeper downhill. But when you run hard, it doesn't feel like that. Yeah. Hill kind of felt easier, and the downhill felt harder. So yeah, it's really interesting.
We used to do sessions out there. So you'd start at the bottom of Anderson Street Hill, and you would run away from it. So we'll do sometimes we'll do 2K reps. Yeah. So you sort of run past the start line, but then you go around the back. And so often I was like, especially when I trained by myself, I was like, why the hell am I running this rep so slow when I run in this direction? Because it's really deceptive, I reckon, when you're running up that hill or down that hill. Just how, I don't know, it's like a very gradual incline, which when you get to the top of Anderson Street Hill backwards, you're like, okay, we've covered a little bit of height here. But I think if you're not aware of it, you can just start to question your form. And then coming back the other way, it's the other story. I'd always feel like I was ready to take on bloody Gregson or someone when I did that rep. Oh, man. So what are you guys up to with your training at the moment? You were just saying that training hadn't been going super well. I don't know if I've just created that, or you're coming back from something.
No, I've just been racing heaps.
Sure.
Yeah, so I was racing in New Zealand. I don't know how many races I tried to count. So in the last year, I've done so many races. Like, I don't even know, like 17 races or something. So yeah, COVID, I'm like, hey, I don't know, I've been racing. No, but it's been domestic racing, so in New Zealand. So I've done a bunch of 800s, 1,500 miles, and pretty much, so since sort of the beginning of January till the very end of March, I've raced pretty much every weekend or every second weekend. Yeah. So I guess in terms of training, that hasn't been like focus. The focus has been the race and then like one session during the week. That's sort of important, and then kind of getting ready for the next race. So my long runs haven't been super long. My thresholds haven't been very long. My mileage has been down, and so because I've been racing, so and I've really enjoyed it, and I really wanted to do that just because I was in New Zealand and I'm never home to race. But I knew once I got here, after about 3 or so months of not doing full training, you lose fitness. That's inevitable. So yeah, I guess coming here was just like, okay, cool, let's focus on building that back up again, full time, like full training, all my doubles, my long runs, my long thresholds, track sessions, everything, like, yeah, a full week. And so I've tried to tick off, basically, I don't know how long I'll be here in total. It's almost, I think it might be 8 weeks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, in total. So, which is really good. So I've done 3 full weeks of training already. And I've got another sort of, I'm on my 4th week now, and then I've got 4 more weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. No, that's nice. Which part of New Zealand are you from?
So I live in the Waikato. So Hamilton, 2 hours south of Auckland. Yeah.
Okay. I never know. I need to do some more study of the New Zealand geography, because unless you say Wellington, I get confused. I went to Wellington a couple of years. No.
It's like a 6-7 hour drive north from Wellington.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
okay. Yeah, not from Wellington. No, I went there a couple of years ago, and I've had some friends who have spent some time in New Zealand, and absolutely rave about it. So I feel like I've never really got to have a good look at it. I wasn't stuck in the city. I was in the city by choice, and I really enjoyed it. But it was, I feel like so many of the real highlight stories from my mates come from them up in the mountains and in that real fresh air. But Wellington had a little bit of a Melbourne vibe to it, so I felt right at home, because wherever there's a place that serves fancy coffee and has like a vintage looking cafe, I just get my Melbourne blinkers on and I'm like, oh wow, this is so perfect.
Yeah, they have that a lot in Auckland as well. It's got a similar vibe, I guess. Yeah.
It sort of goes hand in hand with the running scene as well. I feel like there's so many. Are you a bit of a coffee girl? Can you enjoy those the Melbourne cafes and stuff, or it's not really a thing?
No, it's definitely my
thing. Yeah. Where are you guys based?
So everyone's based all over in Melbourne, but I'm based in Sandringham at the moment, so it's been cool.
Oh yeah, no, nice part of town. Nice part of.
Yeah.
Say that again. Sorry, I talked over you. I keep this microphone gives me a little bit of power. I keep looking at it. And usually I have like a black t-shirt on or a black jumper, so it sort of blends in. And I can't stop looking at how ridiculous it looks. So I'm going to have to like lift the screen up, because does it look way too oversized for the job at hand? As soon as I started the call with you, I thought, I can't change it now. It's going to look real unprofessional. But every time I look at it, I think it looks as big as my head.
Yeah, it's near about.
So, hey. I wanted to ask you a little bit. You were speaking about how your training and stuff works around your racing. Like, Badeau, in my mind, he has a reputation for being like a pretty consistent, solid trainer with his athletes all through the year, even leading into races. Is it something that when you're racing so much, are you refining a lot or reducing your training in the lead up to it a lot, or how are you sort of managing that load? I guess it depends on like the seriousness of the race or whatever, but is it something that changes a lot throughout the year for you?
Yeah, it depends. Like, I guess it depends what phase. Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, our training is really consistent all year round. But yeah, especially when I literally just had so many races, it definitely decreased. You're not going to do a full long run Sunday before a race. You're not going to do your midweek long run. Like usually when I do a full week, it's like I usually do 2 sessions when I'm back home, but I'll do a midweek 90-minute run and a Sunday 2-hour run, and you're not really going to get that in before a race, so that drops. And then because it was every week, but usually I wouldn't race that much. I just it was just, I think that because there was so much going on with COVID and there was so much uncertainty around everything, I just found I was much rather liking racing rather than training, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Was,
Well,
was that just because it was something for you to target that training towards, or?
kind of felt like there was so much uncertainty around everything, and it was because I don't really have anyone to train with that much in New Zealand. I was finding it was just such a long time, and it's been such a long time since I've been with my group, like before Doha 2019. It's been a year and a half, yeah. And so I was really good for like blocks and periods of time, and but then by the time I got to sort of like December, it was like, man, like I kind of need to get back with my group, but then it's still, you still couldn't really go. And then, yeah. And so I think when the option was to race, I was like, oh, I just want to race as much as I can. I like, I just can't push myself in training the same. But in a race, like I can give much more of an effort. Like I can, dig really deep. Especially I did the shorter events because there's more competition for that because I'm not as good at I'm not as good at the shorter races. So I was still trying to do the shorter races and do as well as I can and try and push myself. And so I found I could push myself better when I raced than when I was just in a training session.
Yeah.
And I just found it was a lot more fun. I got to travel around New Zealand. There was races in like Christchurch. I don't know where else. Where did I race? Wanganui, Hastings, Auckland, where I live. There was just sort of all over. So I felt like it almost felt like a normal life that I live. But obviously I'm not traveling overseas, but I was still getting in the car to drive far or getting on a plane so it kind of was mimicking almost normal life for me. But it wasn't obviously the same. And the competition wasn't quite the same as when you're in bigger races. But I don't know. I just really wanted to. I don't know. I just basically love racing so much more than training, and so for me, it was a no-brainer. I was like, I just got to race. I can't just keep running for months and months and months with no like targets. And so I don't know. I just got a lot of, I guess, I don't know. It was just really fun, and I knew that when I got to the end of that phase that I had to just basically knuckle down and train hard because, it was also good because those shorter races, so I kind of got faster stuff going on, knowing that when I sort of end of March was like, right, from April onwards, it's about endurance because I've got the 5 and 10 coming up. So, it was good.
Beautiful. So what were you racing? You were sort of doing a lot of 8s and 15s or up to 3Ks?
I didn't even do a 3K, no, just 8s and 15s and a mile. Yeah. So I think I did 3 8s, 3 15s, a mile. Yeah, this year. So I don't know. Oh, and then maybe more. Maybe like 5 15s I've done. Yeah, I don't know.
It's something I feel like I sympathise with you elite athletes so much just through this COVID period because that's one thing. I was a little bit like you. Like I enjoyed going out and running and like I love my training and stuff like that most of the time. But for me, it was always race day that got me super excited. Like I was always just hanging out for that and making sure that I was training towards that. And I don't know like how you guys have been. Well, I don't know. I'm looking from the outside, but I feel like it would have been a difficult thing to stay chilled just through the uncertainty of COVID and just feeling like you're training a little bit for nothing, like with no sort of end goal in mind. Especially the guys here in Melbourne who got massively sucker punched with the lockdowns and stuff. Just trying to I think there was a few athletes not even posting their accurate training stuff on Strava because they were feeling bad, bragging about the fact they were out doing a 2-hour long run when apparently you were supposed to be on the outside for a minute. But yeah, that's interesting that you mentioned it. So it's something you definitely noticed. Like that was just difficult training for the sake of training rather than having a goal in mind necessarily.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I was still training, but it just didn't have the same and also people keep being like, the Olympics are definitely not going to happen. There's no chance. And it was just a constant. And you're like, can you just every day, it was just like constantly people, like, it was sort of almost the opposite of support. It was like, can you just be slightly sympathetic or slightly, I don't know. It was really odd. Like, people that I don't really know would often just come up to me and be like, or if they'd ask me what I was doing and I say I'm training for the Olympics, they're like, oh, as if. Like, what are you bothering training for? And you're like, look, I don't even know why I'm giving you the time of day to talk to you, let alone, and then, but sometimes actually we'd just be like, oh, like, can you just not? Like, I know I've got to go out and do the session by myself again for the 60th week or whatever, like, like, and it's just like I know I wouldn't let that get to me really, but there's just like this little part that it's like, can you just, because it's like my whole life is on hold. Like, I can't just go off and take up all these new things because it's gonna, like, my focus, I've qualified for the Olympics and I'm training for the Olympics, so that's my plan. I can't go off and do random things and take up like a heap of study or this whole nother career. It's like you've just got to kind of wait it out. And I don't know, and people just, I don't know, it's not that they weren't understanding. I think they were trying to have something to talk to you about, or like,
I was just thinking that
they kind of got like, but I don't know, I just didn't have a lot of time for it. And I'd say, oh, okay, yeah. But it's like, what do you want me to say? And also, we've been told that it's happening by the New Zealand Olympic Committee, who speak with the IOC, who are going to know a lot more than some random guy on the street who just listening to the radio, like, on this guy calling up on the talk show being like, oh, I don't think the Olympics going to happen. Like, no, like, I don't know, but just little things like that. And you're like, come on, like, everyone's like talking about, oh, it's been such a hard year. And it's like it has, but it's not been that, like, it's just, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. People just don't really think, I think. They just don't think.
It's so funny. So I'm glad you called it, because I was thinking as you were saying that, I was like, it's funny just what comes up in small talk when you're trying to make conversation. So about 9 months ago, we had our first kid. Mm-hmm. And in the lead up to that, the amount of people that are like, oh, what's going on? It's like, oh, my wife's pregnant, she's a few months away. And they're like, oh, mate, get ready. Your life's about to change. It's never going to be the same. I was like, oh, well, like, it just sounded like a nightmare. So I was getting myself so prepped up for me to hate being a dad. Yeah. Anyway, he came along and he turned out to be a little legend, or he's been a little legend. Yeah. And he's like, I feel bad talking about this, but he's a really good sleeper. Like, he sleeps like a legend. Yeah. And even still, I feel like just maybe is a little bit of a crutch. So often in a conversation, people are like, oh, how's dad life? I'm like, hey, I love it. Yeah. They're like, oh, getting any sleep? I'm like, well, actually I am. They're like, oh, that'll change. That's going to change. Yeah, wait till he's 2. Then he'll hate you. He'll probably run away from home.
Everyone's so negative. Like, it's just like that with everything though. Yeah. Yeah, and then, and people always, I'm just like, I can exactly imagine that. But everyone says that. And like, I'm like, no, but, well, I don't know. They always like say things to freak you out and like put scare tactics. And it's like, and that's what I was kind of saying, I guess, in terms of you can't compare yourself to others. You can't listen to what other people are saying, because it's just, they don't know. Like you said, like, why was there no point? Like, you were like, obviously they're like trying to make you freak out about this father thing. And then you're like, wait, why is it freaking out? It's great. Mm-hmm. Like, but it's like people just have to give their 10 cents worth, and it's always bad. Why can't it be like, oh my gosh, you're going to love it. It's going to be so good. I'm sure, like, I don't know, why are people not positive?
What is that? What is that, do you reckon?
It's so negative. Like, everyone's always like, nah, not going to work. Or just like real down. And it's like, okay, you like kind of not really needed. Just be nice. Or just don't even say anything. Like, just don't say, just be like, oh, okay, that'll be cool. Well, they just say less. But instead they're like, it's just like, so I can totally imagine what it would have been like.
It's so true. Well, you seem, I've only known you for 41 minutes, 30 seconds, but you seem like a really positive person, like, and really relaxed. Like, what is it that, and I know I'm making a massive judgment based on such a short conversation, but I feel like word on the street is I'm accurate with my judgment. So what is what are you doing? What can is there anything that you're doing like with your mindset and stuff that teaches you to be like that? Because it's funny speaking to people who, I think everyone's aware of it. Like, if you actually have this conversation, people are really aware of it. And to be fair, I catch myself doing it sometimes as well. And maybe it's just like, maybe I'm trying to find like common ground of, I don't know. is it harder to be rejected when you're being positive to someone? They're like, oh no, it actually sucks. Maybe that hurts more, but it is weird. Yeah, it's really strange that people find it so much more comforting to just chuck out the bad possibilities rather than go, hey, you might be an amazing dad. You might love it. You might actually be able to sleep. Your kid might like you.
Yeah. Your own child might really love you.
Sorry, that was a lot of information. Camille, I'm trying to learn in these things to just ask a question. But this is episode 87, I think it's going to be. And you'd think after 87 conversations, you'd learn just how to ask a question. But I took you on a massive journey there, fired 4 questions at you, and then expected you to know where to go. But the question that I was originally trying to ask, before I went on my own tangent, was from a pretty positive perspective, like a pretty positive view on life. Are there things you're doing and practicing to make that easier for yourself? Or is that like a little bit just more, not genetic, but like you're predisposed to just a few more smiles than everyone else? What's going on there?
No, I think I guess for me, I feel like it's maybe something that I've learned over time. I am quite A-type personality, but I feel I've tried the really strict, really like disciplined, no real fun life type thing, and really serious, and it's just really unenjoyable, and I run really bad, and I hate it, and it's miserable, and it's not fun, and then I guess maybe a few years ago, I was just I don't know, like it was weird. I was just like, okay, I'm actually sick of trying this hard and being this not this dedicated, but I was like almost too dedicated. And I was like, well, why don't I just try and actually enjoy my life more? Because this is what I'm doing, and I've chosen to do this as a life, as a lifestyle, as a career, as a whatever. How about you try and fit it into something that's actually enjoyable and something you want to keep doing? And so, I don't know, I feel like I just made a decision one day to sort of try the slightly more relaxed way or approach, I guess. And then I just kept running PBs, and it was just got better, and I was like, oh my God, this is so much better. Because I don't think I'm naturally maybe that strict of a person, but I thought maybe I was supposed to be, because I'm a distance runner, and it's like everyone who's a distance runner is supposed to be like this, and allowed to like have fun and have like friends and do stuff, and I don't know. And then I was like, well, that's kind of not really me. I don't really like being by myself for ages. I don't like doing everything and just being really strict all the time. And so I kind of tried, like I said before, saying kind of try and work out what works for me. And yeah, I don't know. I just think, I don't know. That for me, I guess it's kind of experience. I've tried different ways, and at the end of the day, I would much rather just be myself. And so yeah, just trying to learn what that is. And yeah, if it's, I don't know, a slightly more relaxed approach that seems to just make me a lot happier, make me run faster. And if I'm enjoying my training, enjoying the racing, enjoying the whole thing, I just seem to run better. And obviously I do set goals and things, but I just feel like they're goals without the same intensity of pressure. It's like I feel more excited to try and achieve it rather than you must achieve it, otherwise you're a failure. It's like, there's like a negative way to view a goal. I'm trying to just be more like, I don't know, maybe set more realistic goals as well, things that aren't so unachievable. And then each time you sort of tick them off, you go, hang on, I think I can do a bit better, and I can do a bit better. And so you're still progressing, but you're doing it in a way that's sort of achievable and more enjoyable, rather than, feeling always like so negative about yourself and so hard on yourself. I think a lot of runners are really hard on themselves, and I don't know, I don't know. Like I don't know whether it's just changed over time, but I don't think I'm quite, I don't know. It's not very enjoyable to be so, I don't know. For me, I can't run well when I do that. So, maybe other people can, if they're really regimented or really strict or really, put a lot of pressure on themselves. But for me, I mean, if I'm that strict, I'm going to get to say like a K out from the end of the race, and I'll just freak out. And because that's where, like, for me, if things are kind of bothering me, or you're sort of, that's when things kind of come out when you're in a race. Like, if there's sort of, I don't know. So I guess I try and, I don't know, make my running more a part of my life, and rather than, I don't know. Don't know if I answered the question.
100. No, that was. I actually was really enjoying that. I was just enjoying sitting back because I feel like you touched on some really, just really helpful topics. And I used to do a lot of work in schools with, like around mindset and healthy habits, and one of the themes, and I'd always sort of tried to boil down exactly what it was. And like I listened to a lot of like spiritual teachers talk about this stuff and just through trying to learn what you just explained myself. And one of the things that there's a bloke, I wish I could tell you his name. He's from like the West Australian Buddhist Society, and he's this like 60-year-old guy, and he's the most chilled bloke in the world, which I think comes with the territory of 30 years of just practicing meditation and stuff. But one of the things that he says is like, I'm the most busy person you've ever met. And he's like, but that doesn't mean I have to be the most stressed. He's like, he goes, say for example, I can have 5 things to do during the day, and I can do those 5 things and just get them done like at a pace that works. Or I can think about the 5 things for an hour and a half each and stress about it and freak out about it and worry about it and not sleep, and then still get the 5 things done and just not enjoy any of it near the amount that I do. Whereas it's funny how, like, say those 5 things take 10 minutes each. Like ideally, you know, as long as there's not so much thought going into it leading up, you can that's 50 minutes of your day, and the rest of the day is free. But I don't know, maybe you relate to what I'm about to say, but I feel like so often, like I'll even get caught going, okay, like if I stress about it, it's like I'm just trying to show myself how much I deserve this special reward, and it's like my almost like a sacrifice to the world. Just okay, like look how hard I'm trying, I'm doing everything I can. Surely I can get the results that I want. Whereas, like from everything that I've learnt and heard, it doesn't seem to work that way. You can get the same responses with what you said, with so much more enjoyment.
Yeah, there's like those quotes that are like, the person who works the hardest or whatever always sort of succeeds, or I don't know if I agree with that. Like, you can work the hardest, but you've also got to it's got to still be the right things. You can't just say like, I can't just go around like 160 k's a week every week and I'm going to run the best. Like like it's not going to, that's not the answer. That's part of it. It's one part of it, but that's not the full circle, you know. Like, you've got your like, there's so many more things that come into being a good runner or being a good performer, or than just ticking off some training. Like, it's just, I don't know. I think there's a lot more to it than that. And I guess, I don't know. And I think when you race, it's like it's not just like a textbook kind of, okay, I put in this, I'm entering my data, which is training. I'm going to get this outcome, which is the race. It's like, but that's not what a human is. That's not how you're going to do. It doesn't correlate like that. The race isn't like that. And so there's kind of parts of you that say maybe you've got to almost do a bit less on a different day because you've got to give more on the race day. Or I don't know, because it just, I don't know how to explain it, but there's kind of parts of you when you have to dig deep in a race. It's not like mechanical. It's like you kind of don't even think, right? You just sort of do something and you're like, oh my gosh, okay, yep, that's what we're doing. Like, but you can't be like, right, now go. It's too late. Your body kind of has to take over. So I think just, I guess, like you're saying, like being in tune with what we're doing and is so important, rather than just ticking boxes every day and living this like, I don't know, mechanical kind of lifestyle. So I don't know, I guess that's, like I guess kind of what you were saying with the person that you said you couldn't, was that the one you said you couldn't remember his name? But it's like, you know, like you're thinking about the things that he had to do, or just do the things and enjoy them. You get, it's like 2 different results, right?
Yes. Yeah, sorry, I was trying to figure out who you're talking. Yes, this Buddhist guy that I was telling you about before. Yeah, I wish I could think of his name. I should look on my phone. He's got some weird Hindu name now that he's changed. He's an Aussie guy with some one of those. You know how, like, what's his name? Matt from The Bachelor changed his name to Osher. It's one of those sort of stories. Anyway, sorry, that's a tangent. But yes, you're 100% right. You're 100%. Sorry to interrupt you with my own little tangent there, but it's I love what you were saying about how it's so much more than just mechanical. Like
Yeah.
it's interesting how that crosses over just to every other element of your life as well. I was thinking, like in a creative, so in my own life, like I do some comedy and I do this relaxed running stuff, and like there's so many things that I love which are super creative, and for me it's like, okay, sometimes you can get caught up chasing what you think is the prize. So you might go, okay, to be happy, like the common view for so many people is like, all right, if I just had a certain amount of money, then we're good to go. But for me, it's like I've realized in myself, it doesn't matter how much money I have now. It's there's like a creative element that's just never going to die in me that I just have to learn to, sort of, which doubles back to what we had before. You don't need to stress about getting it done. Just do it and sort of enjoy the process. And I guess this is where every cliche in the world comes out, but they're so true. You understand why for a reason. But it's yeah, like what you're explaining with running being more mechanical. It's a bit more of a holistic thing. Like there's so much more going on than just like 1 + 1 = 2 or whatever it is that you're trying to, whichever little algorithm you're trying to solve is, do you know?
Not really gonna work. No. I don't know. It doesn't work for me anyway. And like if you're upset or whatever, I don't know, just kind of try and deal with that before you, like, because sometimes if there are things that you've got, I don't know, say you've got a problem or whatever, trying to solve those makes me run better. Like I feel more, I guess, not relaxed, but I don't know, if there are like issues in my life, I kind of feel I'm better to deal with them and address them rather than, I don't know, because again, I can't stay on the start line and run well if there's all the stuff that I haven't kind of sorted out. And I don't really know. Yeah, I don't know. There's just, that for me is like, it's sort of, it goes hand in hand. I can't just like click a person and be like, right, this is running Camille and this is normal Camille. Like it's,
Yeah.
it's just Camille. Like, I don't know. And so, yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
It's interesting. I feel like people have been having this conversation for years, so I hope we push the conversation a little more in the right direction to help people out. But hey, I got my eye on the clock, and I know I said about an hour, but there's a couple of quick ones. Do you mind if I just fire a few more at you before I let you go?
Yeah. Okay, go.
I'm just so glad I didn't get to 30 minutes and you walked out. So before we hit record, for anyone listening, she kept disappearing from the camera. Wanted to double check that her bed head looked okay before we hit record, and she kept getting out of the way of the camera. So I was just nervous that after 30 minutes she was going to walk away and leave and not come back. So I'm so glad after 50 minutes she's still here. What's the go? So you were saying, and sorry to be this bloke who asked about the Olympics again, but is the plan, so all of your races are sort of targeting that now? You said you're about to go overseas. Which races are you heading to in the next couple of weeks?
So I've got 2 races lined up that are pretty much confirmed. So Doha Diamond League 3K on the 20th of May, and then Hengelo, I think it's a World Challenge 10K on the 6th of June, and then I go to St. Moritz to train. With the train.
I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool few months ahead.
You know what you were just talking about earlier about being really happy for the people?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm struggling with that right now. I'm just really jealous that I'm not a fast enough runner to go in.
Like, I'm not even happy for you. That's fine. No. As long as you admit it, right?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. They're interesting. Like, have you run a heap of diamond leagues?
No, not many. No,
nah?
Hardly any. Like literally a couple. Yeah.
Man, that'd be such a buzz, hey?
Not many. They're very fast and really like they're hard to get into. And I've only kind of just got to the stage where my times are probably getting good enough to get into them. But they're also really fast always. So yeah, I am excited. But I sort of know, yeah, between now and then, like I'm excited for the training that I've got to do. But yeah, it's like head down. I know there's like a good challenge at the end of it. So it's making training so much easier. Like, trust me, I can just put my shoes on and get out the door. There's no barriers. Yeah. Whereas months ago, it's like you're putting your shoes on. You're like, oh, really? It's like, is there anything that I have to do before I go to run? Like, I can't do it. Like, oh, it started raining. Okay, done.
I can't do it.
You know? Whereas now I'm kind of like, okay, like, I need to go for another run. Like, seriously, you don't have long. You're like, get it together. Yeah, it's good. Like I like a carrot. It's like it's good. Yeah.
That's nice. That's really good. Yeah. So how long do you say you're going to be in Europe? Oh
Um,
well, not just Europe, I guess, by the sounds of it, but
so
traveling.
yeah, until around about the 19th of July, then I'll fly to Tokyo from St. Moritz.
Awesome. No, that's so good. And are you going to run the 5 and the 10 in Tokyo?
Yes, so the fives first, and then the tens the last race. So I'll be there the whole time, which is cool.
Man, that's going
Yeah,
to be so cool. Is this, how many Olympics have you run? I should have done some more Googling.
fun.
Your first one.
Yeah, so
Yeah, good on you.
you can add that to the. It's not going to happen. You've been training your whole life. You're 30. Your first Olympics not even going to happen. Just.
That'd be even more annoying to keep hearing that. Yeah, no, I'm feeling hopeful for you. I'm excited for you. It's such a cool couple of months.
If it's happening, yeah.
What's that? Sorry.
I said I'll just be racing. I'll be just turning I'll be on the start line. Don't worry.
I'll still be there cheering. Yeah. Well, in distance. That's awesome. That's really exciting.
Yeah.
Well, what do you got on for the rest of the day? I'll let you go in a sec. I was about to go to the gym before you messaged me back on Instagram to say you can do a podcast right now.
Go to the gym? You still have time?
What was that? Sorry.
You still have time to go to the gym, or are you putting it off?
Yeah, that's right. This podcast was an excuse for me just to avoid that session.
Yeah, you're like, oh no, something came up. So I created.
Well, what do you got on? It's what time is it now? It's sort of.
Are we going to go to the beach actually?
Oh, stop it! Yeah, Sandringham delivers.
Stay, yeah. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming on. It was good to catch up with you. I can't remember. I thought that I'd messaged you before to invite you onto this podcast, and then when I clicked your name earlier, there was no message there, and I thought, oh, okay, I've just imagined that.
Yeah, I don't think you have. No, I don't know. I don't think you have.
No, I was so glad. Oh, I still do the. I thought you just snobbed me. I thought you were a little bit too cool for the Relaxed Running podcast. So I was so glad. The quickest reply of all time. That was a really fun chat. I'm so glad you came on. That was fun.
So don't say it was the quickest reply of all time. Be like, oh my god, it took months to get her on the show.
Yeah, that's right. I'll edit that part out. It made me so much happier because as I sort of hinted at earlier, admin's not a strong point of mine. So when we can just get it organised and do it quick, I'm like, oh, thank God for that. Because yeah, the amount of times that I've almost missed a podcast or ones that's been changed.
So organised, but like the time you organise doesn't even work. Yeah.
I'll tell you a fun story, and I hope she might just be being nice telling me this, but so about a year ago, I emailed Jordan Hussey to come on.
Yeah.
And it was I left a voice message with my best Aussie accent and tried to be charming and really nice. And this could be the reason she hasn't been on yet. But she got back to me going, yeah, let's do it. Like we'll do it. Anyway, in terms of hard to get, I've lined up 4 separate podcast interviews trying to get her, and like for all what sound like legit. I feel like I'm a high school kid chasing a crush. Like she's playing super hard to get, and it's making me want that podcast even more.
Yeah.
This is so.
I'm the opposite. I'm too easy. It's fine.
I love it.